Hello students, welcome to Legacy Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a recent news where it has been decided by the Home Secretary of India that is going to visit the state of Manipur, which has been under what you can call as a continuous disturbances, and especially we see a new phase of disturbance erupting in last week itself. So let us try to understand that what is this entire issue all about and what is the reason behind the current disturbances the state is facing. Now in this regard, Union Home Secretary Govind Mohan, who has recently taken charge of this particular post, he has decided to visit the northeastern state of Manipur in next week, probably somewhere on the June 2nd and 3rd. In the wake of the first protest, the decision has been taken regarding this, and basically Home Secretary is likely to visit both areas. If we talk about, first of all, we know that in the state of Manipur you have two major communities that resides. One is Meitei group and other is the Kuki-Jo areas. So first of all, he is expected to visit Kuki-Jo areas that largely is lying in the Chura Chandapur and the Kangpokpi region of the state, and here he is also going to review relief and rehabilitation effort and work that was launched by Ministry of Home Affairs. Overall, under the security scenario of the state will also be something that he will be willing to look at. Now, if you try to understand the reason why he has to make a visit, such a high profile visit if you talk about, is after the Gwaltabi incident that took place last week. Now, in this particular incident, we have seen that a media team that was going to cover Shirui festival. Shirui festival is held every year. It is kind of annual festival in the region of Manipur. They were going on a bus, and on the bus, as you can see, the board or the banner mentioned Manipur State Transport. Now, it is in this particular instance we have seen the security forces asking the bus driver to remove the letter Manipur or the word Manipur from this particular bus as such, and this has caused a huge furore among the Meitei community specifically, and due to this, the Meitei community and the civil society organizations talk about, they had asked the governor of the state to ask for apology, ask for forgiveness, and if he will not do so, there will be a large scale civil disobedience and non-cooperation movement will be launched by the COCOMI. Now, COCOMI is the group that is leading this particular protest. COCOMI stands for Coordination Committee of Manipur Integration. This is largely an umbrella organization that is made up of large number of civil society organizations that belong to the Meitei group as such. So, as a result of this particular Gwaltabi incident, they have said that we are going to do the complete boycott of governor. That means governor will not be invited to any of the functions. He will not be invited for the press conferences, and also the media person, apart from media person, journalist, everyone will overall boycott the governor. And not only that, they began to organize, as we can see, a non-violent protest and began to launch their what you can call as movement toward the governor's house, Raj Bhavan, as well. They also demanded for the immediate resignation of all the top government officials of the state, whether it is a security advisor to Manipur, the DGP, who is the head of the Chief Director General of Police, as well as the Chief Secretary, who is the head of administration as such. Also, because governor has asked to constitute an inquiry commission, the Meitei group believe that such inquiry commission will not be impartial. They will be having certain sort of undue influence of the top officials, and that is why they are asking for an independent commission who can conduct the inquiry in this particular incident as such. So, this particular changes or the what you can call as particular situation has led to the problem in the state of Manipur. Now, if you look at the state of Manipur itself, we can look at the demographical map here. We can see that in the northern area, it is largely inhabited by the Naga group, which make up 24.6% of the population. Then you have the Meiteis, which are largely concentrated in the valley region, because if you look at the Manipur, from all sides it is surrounded by hill, and in central part you have valley. So, Meiteis largely are concentrated in the valley areas, making up 53.3% of population, and then third significant population you have is of Kuki group. Kuki group, as you can see, is living around this valley area, and both in the southern as well as eastern western part of hill as such, and they make up about 15.6% of population as such. Now, if you look at the Manipur itself, the entire state was engulfed in violence that began somewhere in the month of May 2023, and this violence was largely what we can categorize as Meitei versus Kuki violence as such, or Meitei versus Kuki, this confrontation as such. So, the reason is because, again, if you look at the state of Manipur, the hill areas of Manipur, as we have discussed, is largely inhabited by the Naga tribes and the Chin, Kuki, Mizo, Zomi group. tribe you can say, made up of 4 different tribes as such. And here Kukis and Nagas point out to the fact that if you talk about the tribal areas, 90% of the state's geographical area is populated by the tribes. Again, if you look at the map here, only this area is where you have the population of non-tribal group. Around that entire area you have the tribal group population. So despite they making up 90% of state geographical area, bulk of the state budget goes to the development of the Meitei dominated Imphal Valley, and this is the kind of grievance they had held against the government of the Manipur, state government of Manipur, and they also claim that it is because the state government of Manipur is giving preferential treatment to the Meitei dominated group as such. Now also on the other hand, Meitei group believes that these tribal groups, though they take up a large part of the state's area, their population is less, and 53% of the population that is made by Meitei group, they are clustered around a very small region of the Imphal Valley as such. Not only that, they also claim that because these groups enjoy tribal status, they are basically having an advantage both in the sense of the admission in the government universities, education institutions, as well as the reservation benefit they have in the government job as well because of their tribal status as such. So both of the group, we talk about Meitei's group versus the tribal groups, have certain grudges against each other, and this is what we can consider as the genesis of the violence. Now when the violence kept on what you can call as when violence kept on spreading almost for 2 years continuously, the state government of Manipur, when it completely failed to tackle this violence, as a result of this, N. Biren Singh, who was the chief minister of Manipur, has no other option but he has to resign as such. And because of this, in the month of February, somewhere on 13th February we can say, president's rule was imposed in Manipur, and because of imposition of president rule, the situation has become kind of what you can call as situation has improved, and this we can understand from the fact also that both the incidents, violent incidents we talk about, that has reduced drastically, and also about 350 people as per the government report have been arrested for various different kind of crimes such as extortion, abduction and the threatening of civilians also. And this is accepted by both groups, Meiteis and Kukis. They have said that one good thing that has happened after imposition of president rule is drastic decline in the violence as such. However, again this new phase of violence seems to be erupting. This is a large scale protest, civil disobedience, non-cooperation movement being launched by the Meitei community as such against the incident where the decision was taken to remove the word Manipur. Now, if you talk about the extent of violence, as we have discussed, since May 2023, both groups have clashed many times, and this has led to loss of life of about more than 250 people as such. Between the Meitei and tribal Kukijo people, the violence that has erupted in the state on May 3rd, 2023, it has not only claimed the life of 250 people, but because of this large scale violence, we also have seen about 60,000 people being displaced from their homes as such. And these people who have been displaced from their homes, they have not been able to be rehabilitated. They are still living like a refugee in different areas of Manipur. So this is the major problem that the state is facing today. Now, if you talk about the way forward, here several civil society groups and even the members of Bharatiya Janata Party, they have demanded that president rules should be removed and from the state as soon as possible, and there should be the restoration of democratic setup as such. And in this regard, 10 Manipur legislators had met Governor Ajay Kumar Bhalla. Now, it was Ajay Kumar Bhalla against which the COCOMI group is leading the protest, and they have asked the governor to apologize, or if he will not apologize, then he has to resign as such. This was the major demand of COCOMI. So, on May 28, 2025 at the Raj Bhavan, 10 legislators met to seek the formation of a popular government. Popular government, as you know, is the government that is selected or elected by the people of the state, and they are representing the interest of the state in the legislative assembly as such. So, in this regard, Home Minister also has stated that government of India do not have a desire to, what you can say, continue president rule for a long period of time. Rather, while addressing Lok Sabha, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has clearly stated that both communities, Manipur, referring obviously to Kuki community and Meitei community, both should understand that violence is not the answer. The only way how the state can move on the path of peace and progress is by coming together and having a dialogue and discussion with each other. So that is what he has stated, that dialogue is the only way forward. He also has said that union government is not in favor of continuing the president rule in the state even for a single day, and whenever there is no need of president rule, immediately government will ensure that popular government again is restored back in the state as such. Now, while addressing Lok Sabha, he also has underlined this fact that the reason behind the breakup or breakdown of violence in Manipur or breakdown of law and order in Manipur can be traced back to the decision or verdict given by the Manipur High Court in this regard. For example, if you talk about the judgment that came from the Manipur High Court, it was a consensus in nature, because Manipur High Court has asked the state government that they shall consider the case of petitioners for inclusion of the Meitei community in the scheduled tribe list expeditiously. Now, try to understand this. This is also a direction or the or what you can call as the verdict that was given by Manipur High Court. Supreme Court also has called it into question when tribal bodies had appealed the High Court's order last year. Now, why it is consensus? Again, as I told you that already, if you look at the demography of Manipur, Meiteis are non-tribal who are residing in the valley region, and Kuki Naga tribes which reside on the mountainous area, hilly area, they claim that most of state's budget is concentrated toward the Meitei dominated areas. Meiteis on the other hand say that they are not getting benefit because they do not have reservation, and they have continuously been demanding for a tribal status. But when the Meiteis began to demand for tribal status, and when the High Court's order also seemed to be favoring this demand, it has created a large scale dissatisfaction and furor among the Kuki-Jo community, which believes that if Meitei are able to get the tribal status, Kuki, which are marginalized today, will get further marginalized. That means they will not have any advantage as compared to Meiteis, because competition will become same for both of the communities. And this special status which the Kuki-Jo community enjoys, they do not want to lose it, and that is why the violence has erupted. So, this is the reason how we can understand in last 2-3 years Manipur has been in the grip of violence, and the only way forward is having is for the parties to come together, for the government also to expedite the dialogue process, and also to create an impartial committee which can and whose verdict and whose decision will be acceptable by both the communities. Unless and until that is done, it seems that different phases of violence will continue in the state as such. So, that is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please like it and share it with your aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.